On average, North Carolina gets 45 inches of rain a year. And being on a farm, a homestead, farmstead, whatever you want to call it, it's important that we save as much of that rain as we can. Because essentially, I mean, you're saving free water. It's coming from the sky. And in today's video is one long video of the different systems that we have done over the last 8 years, showing you guys how we save rain. So today we're sharing how to save anywhere from 30 gallons on a greenhouse, also 110 gallons of water, and a movable rain tower. I'm also showing you how to save 550 gallons. I'm also showing you how to save 1,000 gallons. I made this whole structure just to save rain. The number one reason why we do save rain is for our animals. Our animals drink a lot of water. Here we go, pigs. And rather than constantly using our well water for us and our animals, the rain helps with that. Another reason to save rain is so that way you don't have to move around hundreds, thousands of feet of hose everywhere and carry buckets long distances to feed your animals. If you're on a well, you're usually on electric. So if the electricity goes out, then you have no well water. We can go to the store and buy water, but our animals cannot. So if we have no well water, at least our animals can get water. Recently we had the hurricane of all hurricanes in our area, and we lost power for 5 days. So another reason why to save rain, we used it for showers, we used it to wash our dishes. And if it really came down to it, we could use it to drink. So not only is this rainwater feeding our animals, but it can also feed us during emergencies. Yeah, we're overflowing for sure. For the base of this rain barrel, I'm using scrap wood. I'm just using 2x4s and some scrap fencing, some screws and glue, making it just a really simple platform. I'm making it this high so that way I can fill up a 5-gallon bucket when I place it underneath the spigot. For the mesh, I'm using an aluminum screen mesh. A typical window screen mesh that you would get at the local hardware store. I'm gonna go up right above these ribs right here. Clean that up with sandpaper. Wrap this in Teflon tape. Then we're gonna drop that in. This is a typical gutter for a house, and these gutters, it has a flat side and then this side's angled. Flip it over and put the angled side against the curved part of the hoop house. I cut this plastic, it's some extra plastic from the bottom of the greenhouse. And then I'm also using some clear UV resistant Gorilla Tape. Alright, it's supposed to rain all this week, but it's not raining right now. But I want to try it. I want to see if it works. This barrel that we have, I got it from a local restaurant. They were getting rid of barrels, and we picked up 2 of them, and it's a food grade barrel. I'm sure you guys can pick one up for free somewhere, but they do sell these.
excited, we got water! Look at that!
I'm using a used pallet because this is actually the perfect size that I need for the barrel that I'm using. And here I'm just breaking up the pallet, and I'm also modifying a little bit because it's not perfectly square. So I'm taking off some 2x4s and adding some 2x4s to also make it a little bit more sturdy. Here I'm just adding the legs as 2x4s. We are very spoiled here in Western North Carolina with water. So this rain barrel is not so much about saving water, although that's important, but it's more about convenience. We don't have a water source in this area, so collecting this rainwater is pretty convenient for us. I decided to make this water tower this high because it fits just under our rain gutter system here. And the ground is not even right here, so I need to take off some of the ground, maybe grade it a little bit. And then it's also going to be gravity fed, so you kind of want it a little bit higher. Now I'm going to put the water spigot about... Now for the overflow spout. Right, this hole is a little tight. I'm going to put this elbow. All right, these barrels I just had on hand. I picked them up, both of them, at a local restaurant for free. These barrels did not come with lids, so for this lid, I'm using a roll of window screen and then using a zip tie to tie it up. And then you just tighten each zip tie, and then it's pretty tight. And then you cut out the excess fabric. This one actually came with a locking lid, so I'm just going to use that rather than the zip ties. The rain gutter system that I'm using is just a standard rain gutter that I installed on this extension of this shed that I built. Then I'm just using a spare hose, but then the end piece here I needed this adapter. I'm adding a metal hanger strap around it just to make it more secure. I added this T-post here just to be safe, even though I did screw this into the 4x4, and we have these metal straps to hold it in place, some wood here to keep that in place, and also down in the bottom. When the water gets this high, it's going to go into the hose, and the overflow is going to fall into this and then fill that up. So both of them are going to be filled up, and then so we can use, and then I'll probably use this to clean out our pig's feed barrel. Guys, this whole build cost me pretty much nothing. I mean, I had to pay for some of the fittings and the hoses, but the barrels I got for free, and which I already had. And then I used a pallet, and I used some scrap 2x4s that I had. Super basic and minimal. And then we could also attach a hose to this. So bring the hose out, do what we gotta do, and call it a day. Especially after it gets a huge downpour here, I think I should be saving this water. We have pumpkins, watermelons. I'm gonna use 2 55-gallon barrels to save water for this garden. I have screws in each corners, plus I'm putting in bolts. Just, you know, it's gonna be heavy. I think that's gonna work because it's diagonal. Even this on this side, I didn't do the other side yet, and it doesn't seem to want to do this. pretty light enough where I can move it by hand. And of course, with no water in it, when you install the downspout, 2-inch threaded on one side. Luckily, it fits, and I bought this just at the local hardware store. You just screw it in, and you pop that in there. I'm not going to attach it or glue it onto this because I just want it to float in there, so that way in case I need to take this apart. This is 110 gallons we're saving. I just installed this last night. Let's see how much water we got. We got some water. Not too many people saving water in these parts of the world. So after this fills up, water's gonna go into here and then fill this up. I still need to make another outlet up here so that way when this overflows, it'll have somewhere to go. The roof line was right here and just extended it just that much so that way I can utilize a full length of gutter. And it's on skids, it's movable. I don't have to water the garden tonight, but let's check on our rain tower. Now that I extended the roof line for the whole entire year, I should save about 980 gallons of water. Try it. Yeah, it works. We got water, guys. Turn this end on. There's a button here for on. There we go. Now I'm gonna grab the hose that's coming all the way down from our barn. You're probably talking about 300 feet, I'm guessing, from here to the barn. I just turned this on, and it takes a little bit. Takes a little bit to travel all the way over here, because it has to go down and then it has to go back up. Alright, so this one's coming from the well.
Wow, this works great.
We have pressure. We haven't had rain for about a week. So definitely we needed some water out here so we could continue growing all this.
Oh wow. That's even better. That's fantastic.
This year we did install hydrants, but we don't use them for our animals. Those are strictly for emergency. Our primary water source for animals is our rain. Our second water source is our hydrants when we do get those droughts, because those do happen from time to time. I finally broke down and bought a 1,000-gallon water tank. After having the wood all delivered, we had to haul it up our mountain, and we are continuing to build this lean-to shed so that way we can save water off of it into this 1,000-gallon rain tank. After putting in 6 4x4 posts and the concrete is dry, when you work mostly by yourself, you learn little tricks, like putting in a screw and using that as kind of like a extra hand when you're leaning up a board and you're doing it up high. Also clamps, one-handed clamps are good. Now eventually, I'll probably build a pond at some point, but I feel like these are the baby steps to get there. We're gonna try this, seeing if this works, seeing how well it works, seeing if we like it, and then we'll go from there. This lean-to shed is going to be the baby steps to get to that pond. And plus, it will be dual purpose. It's shelter, it's shade, it's storage, and it saves rain. To build a structure like this, I suggest getting some help if you can. If not, don't let that stop you. Kind of have to take your time. It's a little relaxing, kinda. This is my third time coming to Lowe's to get some parts for the gutter. I've been here for about 3 hours now. I think they think I work here. But this is the only way I can figure it out. You know, you gotta lay it on the ground. And I feel like they don't have everything, which that's a given. You know that's gonna happen. I'm just using whatever the hardware store had. These little clips, comes with a screw. When you're installing the gutter, make sure it goes at a slight slant so that way the water can flow freely down into the tank. And here's a spout that's gonna come out of here, and then we need to guide it into here. The next thing we need to do is make that level. I picked up this leaf eater, which has a screen mesh, like a filter. I'm gonna rig up something for it to mount to, because I don't think it was really meant for a structure like this. And we gotta figure out this spout situation. I unscrewed this top. Comes off, comes with a strainer. There it is, 1,000 gallons. Honestly, our ground is so compacted in clay right here, I mean everywhere, that I'm not sure if I even need gravel, sand, and to actually compact it for this tank, but I'm just gonna do it just in case. And as it fills up, I would hate for it to start sinking in the ground. Primer, cement, got an arrow on that end and an arrow on this end. You just line them up. I don't want to make this permanent where it sits in here and glue it in, just in case I need to take this out or clean it. So I have these hanger strap. I'm going to strap that into this piece of wood Now initially I wanted to make a first flush system where it flushes in a clean out and then it dumps into the tank. But doing my research, I felt like some people loved it, some people didn't. And a lot of people said it was more hassle than what it's worth. So for now, we're gonna do without the first flush system, but I'm gonna do a couple of things that will help filter the water just a little bit. There's a screen mesh in here. The leaf eater has a screen mesh. The water comes out of the gutter into the leaf eater and then down the PVC pipe, and it's kind of down in a slant. All year long we've been using a used IBC tote to water our animals. Using a brand new tank like this is just going to be a lot better, a lot cleaner. I located the tank the way I did because just in case we need to add to it, if I need to make another one, I can hook it up right next to it, or even the IBC tote I can hook right next to it. I guess you could say the other question would be, how do I get water from that big tank? These tanks already come with an outlet. I had to get a valve and then one of these fittings so that way I could screw on the valve. And then at the end of this valve, hook up a hose to it and then have that go out on the property. There's a spot to hook up another one, and then another valve is already on this side. Hook up a hose to that spout and then it goes right down the middle of the property. On this end, we could run a hose into the woods if I had pigs in there. The thing about these plastic tanks, you got to be careful. You can't use really sharp rocks for a pad because they've been known to like puncture. You know, with all that weight in the water, it's going to puncture underneath the tank and possibly leak. That is why I used pavers to put it on. And then I also used round pebbles. We'll see how long this pad lasts, but I think eventually I'll probably put a concrete pad. In the winter, it's going to take a lot for this whole tank to freeze up. And being that it's black, I'm not too worried about it. Also, the color of this is going to help with any kind of algae growing inside or mold. And now the last step, step 3, it needs to rain in order for this to work. All right, we're finally getting some rain today, possibly tomorrow. I think the weather's saying maybe 2 inches today. I'm guessing about right here, which that's about half full. We got 500 gallons, I would say. I'm telling you, water is the most important thing on your land. But we do have some good pressure there. Oh, save it. Maybe if we wind it out a little bit. Now if it was a fatter pipe, maybe that would come out a lot quicker. Also maybe a pump. I'd have to find something solar though, because there's no electricity up here. I mean, but that's good enough for chickens. If I had to fill up like a 100-gallon trough for a cow, I would want that faster. I don't want to be sitting here all day. And honestly, this pressure right here, guys, okay, so this pressure was about the same pressure as it was from our well the first year we were here, as we were running like 300 feet of hoses. Look at that. I love it. I love it. It's addicting saving rainwater. This is my first full year with this 1,000-gallon tank, and the lowest I've seen it was about 300 gallons. And then it'd fill right back up. We're using a hose to gravity feed to fill up either buckets or for our pigs or chickens, turkeys. Everyone's concerned is if it gets hot. No, it does not get hot. It sits in the sun all day, pretty much. I mean, it's shaded right now, but pretty much it's outside. And it doesn't get hot. I mean, I've never noticed. And in the winter, it doesn't get that much cold here. So it would take a lot for this whole thing to freeze. And all last winter, it never froze at all. I mean, it's not much different than, you know, turning on the hose during the summer and just letting it run out a little bit, you know, because it is a little warm. the hose itself, but then after you let it go, it's just like anything else where it just gets cool. I mean, yeah, you have to build structures sometimes. You need to get a big tank that can cost $1,500, but once you get it, you have it. And from the here on out, we're saving. And saving rain can be addicting, so make sure there's room for growth. Right here, I can also add another 1,000-gallon tank, and I can add 3,000-gallon tanks here, and just daisy chain them together, and then gravity feed all of them all the way down. Today, we are going to improve our water collection system off our small barn. But first, we need to find 2 IBC totes, preferably black. And it's not easy to find black IBC totes. These 2 are 275 gallons each, and they are very clean inside. They almost look brand new. So I want this platform to be at least taller than a 5-gallon bucket, because we're going to put the bucket underneath it, turn it on, fill it up with water, and then maybe even make it a little bit higher, so that way hopefully maybe you don't have to bend down so much and turn the handle. I think we're good as far as level and where I want this at, so we're going to finish it off the ends, because these ones hold, so I think it's about 220 pounds, because we're going to put a lot of weight on this once these 2 IBC totes are full. I like using the battery powered saw better for this type of thing. It's just more, it's less fussy. I mean, it's pretty powerful. There's no pull start. You don't have to sit there pulling it to start it. You just pop in the battery and go. We're going to be using this leaf eater. This is going to be collecting the rainwater when it initially comes in. I have this same leaf eater up on top of our hill for our 1,000-gallon rain tank, which I like it. It works well. It catches all the debris in the leaves. Also, having some kind of backing for it to kind of lean on is helpful. I marked at the end there, so that way I could just match up the 2 marks. So for this plastic pipe, it's not really meant to be just sitting outside in the sun and the elements. So what I like to do is paint this. I'm going to paint it white just to get a little bit more weather protection from the UV. But you could probably just leave it like this, and it will last a while. It worked. There we go. Just gotta clean that out in there. So we have the leaf eater that's gonna be a filter. We have this netting that's gonna be a filter. And I like to use fancy zip ties. And then you get your top. Screw that on. This pipe is kind of dry. We're going to use these cam locks systems. These pop in. This screws on the end here, and then you're going to pop this on, lock that in place, so that way you can easily, all you have to do is slip it off if you need to. Man, the wind's picking up. I think we might get some rain. And that's going to screw onto this. And you pop this on. Attach it to this pipe and that pipe, because you have a short window before it gets too hard to move. So we're going to pop that on and then pop this on. You know, you don't want it too long, like coming out here, because I'm picturing I'm going to come in with the mower or the mini truck and just take this out. So I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. We're going to use this ball valve. I have my doubts about this. I feel like this should be some kind of metal, because we're going to be turning this on and off all day. I feel like I'm building some kind of water cannon. All right, come on. And I'm going to put this one on. I got to put it fairly perpendicular with the ground, straight in. I feel like if you hang on it or if you hit it by accident, it's just going to break. Nothing fancy, just try to keep it simple. It needs to keep it sturdy. I mean, you could put some baling twine and just kind of tie it up to the tote, but I like things to look nice. I don't want to look like a junkyard. So there's our pattern. That's what we're doing. It's sagging a little bit. We're gonna bring it up. All right, I'm glad I got that out of the way. Look at that. Sturdy. And we can still take this on and off, so it's not strapped in there. Put it at the end here, so that way, you know, it can be a habit. If you're filling up a bucket, you're just kind of leaning up against this thing and you're turning this on, turning it off. 275 gallons. I used one of these IBC totes our first year living here. We only had one, and we used that one for all of our pigs and all of our chickens. I'm talking like 200 meat chickens plus egg layers, 40 egg layers. This PVC pipe, when we use it, it uses both IBC totes at the same time. So you're not just using one or the other. So they're both being used, and we're using those water, so the water is not just staying in there. You know, when we had the power outage recently for 5 days, we were using this to wash dishes, plus some of the animals we're feeding. We're low this much on both of them. So I don't know, what is that? 75 gallons maybe? I hope this video kind of gave you some different ideas on how to save rain, because I mean, you might be in an area that, hey, we get a lot of rain here. Why would I save rain? It sounds like you don't need to. But if anything, it's good to save rain for emergencies, in case a hurricane rolls through and turns out your power for weeks, months. And you'll at least have some kind of water. If anything, if you don't have animals, if anything, you could use it to flush toilets. You could use it to wash dishes. I mean, some kind of water. You know, I wanted to just kind of put together like one big thing of how to save rain. You know, instead of all these little videos, all these videos that I have over the years, you know, it's just kind of putting everything together in one spot. But we love saving rain here. Saving rain is always evolving. There's always improving the systems that I currently have, and I already have ideas and things in the works on future rain saving ideas. So we're going to be doing that soon. So yeah, thank you guys. Hang in there. Go get some barrels. Go get a 5-gallon bucket and save some rain. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys next time.